ידיד נפש אב הרחמן, ידיד נפש אב הרחמן, משוך עבדך אל רצונך, משוך עבדך ילה לה 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 We open tonight on page 10. We're singing Yedid Nefesh, an old piyut. We haven't done it in a while, so I was digging up in the library. Hope you can remember we've sung this before. Together. Yedid Nefesh Av Harachaman, Yedid Nefesh Av Harachaman, Meshach Avdach El Retzonach, Meshach Avdach Yala la 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 Yala Retzonach Yarutz Avdach Ishtachavei ya la 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 ya mulada ya rutada kemaya ishtachavei ya la 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 el mulada. Shabbat Shalom. So nice to be with everybody here tonight and share the joy of Shabbat. The rabbi is not here tonight. As you can see, he has both taken a few days off after the holidays and also is on the board of the organization 18 Doors, so he will be attending a conference of that organization in the coming week. So this is Shabbat Bereshit. We've been through all the Chagim, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Simchat Torah. And in Simchat Torah, we celebrated the idea of beginning studying Torah again. And beginning to the Torah from the beginning starts again in the book of Genesis, the book of Bereshit. And it is the beginning of everything. It is the beginning of the creation of our planet, the beginning of humanity. And on this Shabbat, I'd like to take a few moments to acknowledge the fragility of our incredible planet, and as well as acknowledge the first humans, Adam and Eve. And so to set the kavanah for tonight's Shabbat of beginnings, I'd like to share a kavanah that she named Techineh. Rabbi Gila Kane, she calls her prayer Techina as a blessing for our earth, as in the Mother Earth. So here is what she writes. Her prayer is this: May the one who blessed Eve, mother of all living, and fashioned us humans, humus from the soil, and blew the breath of life into our nostrils, so we became a living creature. May she bless us with heart, wisdom, and body knowledge to guard the sacred commandment of honor your father and your mother, so that your days will be long on the soil that Adonai, your God, has given you. May we remember that life's web springs from earth and from the rush of waters on and within her, as we remember that wetness would well from the earth to water all the soil, and Adonai our God caused to sprout from the soil every tree, lovely to look at and good for food. And she, the soil ground, is our mother. We arrive from her dust and return to her when our spirit leaves us. So may our goddess of all mercy return children's hearts to their parents, and we shall once again fulfill the mitzvah of reverence and respect to earth as due to a parent, so that Adonai will not strike the whole land with utter destruction. And when we married to clean the earth with our own hands and beautify her together with all our brothers and sisters, the quarrelers, the swimmers, the flyers, the swarmers, those who grow, those who suckle, those who spore, and the silent ones. A silence calling out from one end of the world to another. And together we say Amen. And with this kavanah and this hope, we invite Gail and Stacy to light our Shabbat candles and welcome Shabbat together in joy as one community. Oh, hear our prayer, we sing to you. Be gracious to the ones we love. And bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear our prayer to you. Let us light these lights and see the way to you. And let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you. And let us say Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת. Amen. Thank you. We continue on page 24, welcoming Shabbat, the Shabbat angels. May you be aware of the presence of angels in your life, every moment, every day. May you remain receptive and open to possibilities of potentiality in your life. May you open your heart and watch with eagerness for opportunities to help and care for others. To be an angel in someone's life is an expression of your generosity. May you sense the presence of angels in a stranger's smile in a moment of unexpected support. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. ויהי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. And we go back to page 20 and we welcome Shabbat with the Chadodi. It is our custom to sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And before the beginning of verse 9, together we rise as one community and we face the door to welcome Shabbat. Ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 penei Shabbat. פני שבת נקבלה, יאללה לה 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 לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 פני שבת, והנה שבת לקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. והנה שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם לסוכה. סוף המעשה במחשבה תחילה. יאי לי לי, יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה לה לה, לקראת כלה. יאללה לה לה לה, פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך ומיורי, אורי אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. והנה שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך המוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. יאי לי לי, יאללה לה לה לי, לך דודי, יאללה לה לה לי, לקראת כלה. יאללה לה לה לי, פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. Page 28. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. page 31 on the very bottom by Amos Oz. I know that the tide is not an independent force, but merely the submission of the water to the movement of the moon in its orbit. And this orbit, in its turn, is subject to other orbits, which are mightier far than it. And so the whole universe is held fast in the clinging grip of strong hands. The forces of earth and sun, planets and comets and galaxies, blindly erupting forces ceaselessly, stirring in ripples of silence to the very depth of black space. Uma'avir yom u'mevi layla, umavdil ben yom u'ben layla, Adonai tzevaot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai, Hamariv Haravim. Let's do that again on page 33. This time, join me together. Torah is what God has revealed to us and what we discern of God, ideas and ideals, laws and mitzvot, our religious heritage. It unfolds our memories of Abraham and Sarah, of Moses and Miriam and the prophets. It is legislation and explanation, allowing questions that challenge, answers that inspire, all a quest for meaning. It is our way of life, a path for our souls, and the design for a better world. Ki hem chayenu v'orech yameinu, ובהם נהגי יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע together on page 36. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. The most central prayer in Jewish liturgy, the Shema, states, "Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one." These words are written inside mezuzot and tefillin. It is traditionally said during all major services, as we are here, and we're waking and going to sleep. The second paragraph that actually comes right in between the two we've just chanted before Leman Tizkeru. There's actually a paragraph that is not even in our prayer book. It has fallen out of favor in some progressive congregations, perhaps because it seems to place God in the role of divine meteorologist. But its message of living in harmony with the earth is at the heart of the Shema. The most central prayer in Jewish liturgy, the Shema, states. So we add a little blessing that I would like to add today to our words that is that in lieu of that middle paragraph which we've omitted. And if you listen closely to the meaning behind the words in your tradition, you will love the source of life and give yourself over completely, heart and soul, to serve life itself. Imagine a world with the rains and snows coming when they are due, where everyone can plant and harvest the abundance of the earth, where animals and wildlife have enough to nourish themselves, and you too can eat and be sated. Watch yourselves, though, from following other ways, paths of greed and entitlement, stripping the land of its soil, warming the oceans, causing hurricanes and floods, droughts and fires, such that the heavens are stopped up and the earth becomes a wasteland. And you yourselves have lost your way and forfeited the goodness of the earth that God gave you. So put these words on your tongue and in your hearts and keep them close, like a sign upon your arms and between your eyes, teaching them to the next generation to abide by them at home and away, day and night. Let these teachings be a watchword for your homes and gates and cities, that you may live long on this planet for all the days of heaven and earth. We continue with Mi Chamocha on page 40. Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi Kamocha nehedar b'kodesh norati lo. Osefele norati lo, Osefele malchutecha la'uvanecha bokeyam lifnei Moshe Miriam, Zeli, Anu Amru Adonai, Imloch leolam va'ed, leolam va'ed, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh norati lo, Osefele norati lo, Osefele ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. And we go from that moment, the formative moment of identity where we're feeling all confident and strong and free, to a moment where we feel more vulnerable. On page 42, we have Hashkivenu, which we've mentioned, that metaphor of the Sukkot Shalom to spread over us. We're asking God to protect us and to embrace us. And I love to think of this also as a very beautiful way for us to hold each other in times of hardship, fear, loss, or any kind of less dramatic kind of discomfort. But we're there for each other, and we ask God to protect us as well. השכיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים, לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ותקננו בעצה טובה מלפניך, והושיענו למען שמך. ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו, ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. Amen. On page 44 is another verse from Torah, Vishamru v'nei Israel. We're commanded to keep Shabbat. It is the most central verse to all of our observance and our practice and our tradition and our history. And I love this phrase here on the bottom of page 44 by Echad Ha'am. That's his pen name. He's a very, I want to say Israeli writer, but I think he's actually also famous as an immigrant to Israel. He's one of the pioneers, the first Zionists, and one of the philosophers who started one of the streams of Zionism, and he said the most brilliant phrase, which I believe in very strongly: more than the Jewish people has kept Shabbat, Shabbat has kept the Jewish people. We all know that phrase. And with that in mind, please let's sing. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. And again, we shift gears, we bring it in to our Amidah. We're going to begin together. This is a section that we traditionally pray on our own privately. There are prayers on the page. As you well know, the right side is the traditional, the left side is contemporary alternative, and there's always the prayers that are in your heart at this time. This is always a moment that I love to connect the prayer experience that is in our hearts also to these bodies that we live in and that we need to live with. And so it is always good when we welcome Shabbat to also take a moment to check in with our bodies, because that's where we hold so much pressure and constriction. And sometimes it's not easy to get rid of it, but it's good to be mindful of it. And so let's take a moment together to just notice how our body feels at this time. If we're feeling any tension, maybe we're tired, maybe we had a very long day. So let's inhale and exhale and all that, and try to bring in the spirit of the calm of Shabbat and try to hold on to it for as long as we can. Maybe a full 24 hours, maybe even just a quiet moment here and there is sometimes priceless. We begin together on page 46. We continue on our own till page 62 with any of the prayers that work for you at this moment. And please, when you are comfortable and concluded your section in prayer, please feel free to be seated. I ask you, if you are able, to rise at this time. Lev tahor, bra li Elohim, veruach nachon, chadesh bekirbi, al tashlicheni milfanecha, ורוח קודשך אל תיקח ממני. אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. לב טהור בא לי אלוהים, ורוח נכון חדש בקרבי. ופי יגיד תהילתך. ברך עלינו, אדוני אלוהינו, את השנה הזאת. ברך עלינו, אדוני אלוהינו, את השנה הזאת, ואת כל מיני תבואתה לטובה, ותן ברכה על פני האדמה, וסבנו מטובה, וברך שנתנו כשנים הטובות בברכה. This time, our prayers turn to those of us who are in need of healing. I'd like to offer a prayer by Alden Solovey. God of our mothers and fathers, watch over all who live with the genetic disorders, life-threatening medical conditions, and chronic or degenerative diseases. Bless them with endurance and resilience, fortitude and hope, with opportunities to thrive and shine even as their conditions progress. Watch over them, their families and friends, our community, and all of humankind. We pray for the wisdom and insight to see each member of our community with clear eyes and an open heart, as another human being, a whole person with hopes and dreams, proud of who they are, striving to be their best selves, struggling with this life and loving it too, as we all do. Rock and shelter, grant us all the ability to see each other's humanity clearly, to cherish each other's individuality, to care deeply about one another, to mourn our losses and celebrate our victories together so that we live, act, and pray as one community of care and blessing. In our community tonight, we think especially of Peter Adamson, Larry Benson, Margot Blaustein, Lisa Bush, Peter Demmer, Claudia DiGesu, Nicholas DiGesu, Richard Feibel, Bruce Goldman, Harriet Goldstein, Paige Holt, Oliver Horn, John Houston, Sheila Carner, Gay Clapman, Leon Kurland, Shari Levis, Deborah Littman, Joseph Lupkin, Lori Mazzarella, Harold Moffat, Reese Osmond, Judy Ragona, Eileen Reinfleisch, Buddy Scott, Bernice Zaid, Alan Silverstein, Gilbert Simon, Marjorie Van Dow, Allison Rosenfogel, Lisa Wolper, Edie Weinstein, and Izzy Yagoda. If there was anybody that you are thinking of at this time that you'd like to add to our prayers, please say their name as my eyes meet yours. If there's anyone online, please add their names to the chat. We sing Misha Barach together. Misha Barach, Avoteinu, Avraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, uYevarech, וירפא את החולים. אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך וירפא את החולים. In this Shabbat Bereshit, we begin our yearly cycle again. We study Torah. We share learning together from each other. And it is one of my greatest pleasures to create opportunities in our community for lay leaders from within us to rise and elevate all of us. And therefore, it is my most wonderful pleasure to invite Brian Dicker, a lay leader and quite brilliant at delivering Divrei Torah, to enlighten us with the light of Torah. And may you be empowered to teach our community for many years to come.
Lower the expectations a little bit.
No, I didn't say anything about the expectations. I'm excited that you're here. Thank you so much for teaching us tonight. Is this good? Maybe come more to the center of the bima, so you're on camera. And I'm going to go away.
We all know the story. Adam and Eve are happily living in the Garden of Eden. They have dominion over all they see, and they have every want and need taken care of. They only have one rule they must obey. Don't eat of the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Of course, the temptation is too great. The serpent convinces Eve that if she eats from the tree, she'll be just like God. And she and Adam do eat the fruit. Trivia question. What's the first thing they learn from this knowledge? What did they figure out? They're naked. When God approaches, they hide because they're naked and because they know God will be angry. When God asks why they did it, the blame game commences. She made me eat it. The serpent tricked me. It wasn't my fault. God punishes Adam and Eve for their transgression. They are banished from the garden. Eve will bear and raise children in pain, and Adam will have to work hard to take care of his family. And perhaps worst of all, God makes them aware of their mortality, the fact that one day they will die. This is the story we've all been told or read. But maybe we have it all wrong. In his wonderful book, How Good Do We Have to Be?, Rabbi Harold Kushner presents an intriguing alternative interpretation. He postulates that what happened to Adam and Eve was not punishment for sin, but the pivotal moment in their becoming responsible adults. Let's go back to the beginning of the story. Adam and Eve had no worries, had all their needs and wants taken care of, had few if any cares. What does that sound like? Sounds like childhood. Yes, in the garden they were like children playing a real life. But once they ate from the tree, they became aware of so much more. They could see faults and flaws in their world. They could see the need to change things, to improve them, to perform tikkun olam. In fact, the serpent was right. In a meaningful way, they became like God. They became like God because God has the ability to create, to change things in the universe from what they were to something different. They became like God because God could also see the imperfections of his own creative work, experiencing the pain of creating something and seeing it turn out very differently than God had hoped and planned. Over the next several weeks, we will study many of these aspects of God's creation. Next week, God destroys with a flood almost all that was created in frustration that his creation had not turned out as he had hoped. And in the following week, God tries again to reimagine creation by entering into covenant with Abraham. Certainly this sequence, this trial and error, can be considered painful. The same kind of pain that God warns Adam about when he tells him of the difficulties that lie before him. Rabbi Kushner argues now had to grow up and be mature, that they would experience the pain, the joy, the responsibility, and the promise of creating new things. God had not actually forbidden them to eat the fruit. God had warned them of the difficulties that awaited them once they experienced the responsibility of having their actions result in meaningful consequences. The two individuals created in God's image had fulfilled their destiny by eating the forbidden fruit. In this interpretation, Eve is not the evil villainess, but the brave heroine of the story, leading her husband into the brave new world of moral demands and moral decisions. And God is not the vengeful, punishing God we have imagined, who punishes all future generations of the world for one mistake, who expects perfection from his created ones, who he knows are not perfect. Instead, God is the guiding voice who tries to ease the inevitable burden of our lives by providing us a roadmap by which we can make correct choices in difficult circumstances. God's love for us is true parental love, unconditional, and wanting to protect us from ourselves even when it is impossible. If we accept that as Christian interpretation, it completely changes the arc of the story of God's relationship with people. If God is not vengeful for forgiving, if God understands that we are imperfect and his commandments are truly meant to help us navigate the moral minefield of our lives, then we can think of God as a loving parent more than a distant and arbitrary commander. Think more Dino, less Volcano. Unconditional love from the source of all things is about the most comforting thought system I can imagine. But I think it's actually a little better than that. Just a couple weeks ago, we completed our Yom Kippur ritual when we confessed our sins, begged forgiveness, and prayed to avert the most severe decree. However, what if we were already forgiven before we even started the day? What if the purpose of the holy day is not to beg and grovel, but to apologize to a loving parent that we have not always been what we want and need to be? That the purpose of the liturgy is not to scare us, but to provide us with a profound way of alleviating the guilt that comes from being human and making human mistakes. Perhaps we are not actually asking for forgiveness, but we're being thankful for all the forgiveness and forbearance that we've already been given. As I said before, God knows we are imperfect and doesn't blame us for imperfection. He provides us with a mechanism to move forward after the inevitable happens, and we fail some or many moral tests. And if God can forgive our flaws, and we are created in God's image, it is important that we're able to also forgive our own imperfections. Forgiving does not mean forgetting. Remembering what has happened in our lives is extremely important. Forgiveness means accepting and acknowledging that we have flaws. So often we feel guilt at what we have done or not done. If this guilt drives us to improve, then it's a very healthy emotion. We want to do the right thing, and if alleviation of guilt is the driving force for doing better, and we're using the emotion in a healthy and productive way. However, if guilt just leads to shame about who we are, if it just causes embarrassment, then we are missing the bigger picture. We compound the original sin with a self-loathing that is unhealthy and unhelpful, and yes, even sinful. Yes, we are wrong to not make time to be present for our loved ones. But if the embarrassment of this act causes us to not make time now, we have entered into exactly the wrong cycle. We need to learn to be more like God, to forgive our own sins so that we can move on to improvement. Forgiving ourselves does not excuse our faults. It allows us to find a path to move forward from them and do better by saying, I can acknowledge my flaws and still move on. Yes, we know we can do better. That is an integral part of the learning that was gained from the fruit. But we also know that getting better is a journey, not a destination. Similarly, we need to move to be more godlike and finding ways to forgive others. So often it happens that a person is wrong and harbors resentment for long periods of time. The insult that was done might seem unforgivable. However, the person who wronged us is long gone and likely not even aware of the resentment. Yet so often the injured or aggrieved party continues to punish themselves with a cycle of resentment and sadness and feelings of victimization. We need to learn to forgive, again, not forget, to acknowledge and accept that everyone is flawed. We might justifiably cut the person who hurt us out of our day-to-day lives, We need to work to pay this forgiveness forward whenever we can. So, our prayer for this Shabbat. May we be blessed with the ability to be forgiving of ourselves and others. May we embrace the humanity that comes to us through the knowledge of good and evil. May we always be aware of God's parental love that is present in the commandments. May hear us on God's will.
Amen. Yasher koach. Thank you, Brian. Kenny Hiratzon. Elena was on page 282. If you are able, please rise. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגוהר עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. על כן נקווה לך, על כן נקווה לך, על כן נקווה לך, אדוני אלוהינו, על כן נקווה לך, על כן נקווה לך, כן נקווה לך, אדוני אלוהינו. לראות מרע בתפארת עוזך, לתקן עולם, לראות מרע בתפארת עוזך, במלכות שדי. ונאמר והיה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Please be seated. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty, but soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. Our thoughts turn to those of us who are no longer with us. As I read the names of our loved ones, I invite you to rise when I call your loved one's name so that we can, together as a community, recognize you at this time. Tonight, this Shabbat, we extend our deepest condolences to Anita Swetinsky and her family on the passing of her son, Glenn Swetinsky. We are in the period of Shloshim for Isaac Goldman, father of Amit Khan Goldman. And we think of the people on this yahrzeit tonight: Naomi Analik, David Aresti, Jack Auslander, Robert Berman, Rose Bloom, Irvin Bloomberg, Ruth Brody, Mitchell Colbert, David Ehrlich, Jean Feingold, Pauline Fisher, Mariana Fisherman, Stella Friedman, Ira L. Fuderan, Marcus Goldenberg, Earl Goodman, Leo Gordon, Jay Goret, Anna Israelit, Virginia Kaplan, Philip Karsten, Sidney Kyle, Jeanette Kleinberg, Louis Lewis, Morris Libman, Ann Lieber, Sidney Mencher, Hetty Nayschuler, Birgit Neuberg, Sandy Pachapin Khan, Alan Rosenkrantz, Milton Rosner, Rose Schultz, Zena Slater, Jerome Sylvia. If there's anybody else you're thinking of at this time and was not on our list and you'd like to mention their name at this time, please do so. we rise as one community to chant the words of Kaddish Yatom, which are on page 294 together. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריך הוא. לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which together we say, עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. Thank you, Gary. I see you added Shirley Adickman also. Shirley Adickman K, your mother, Ziartzai. Thank you for adding her as well. We continue with Kiddush, and since we have so many young participants tonight, can I have all of you come on the bima with me? Come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on. There's just one cup, so I'll hold it. Kiddush is on page 5. Baksha. Come, don't be shy. Maya knows it. You guys could sing some of it. Come on. She'll go in front of the mic and you guys will all come close. You'll get challah at the end. It's worth it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam boreh. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav b'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit kihu yom techila למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Voila, challah. You didn't know that was coming, right? Together, you know this one, right? Do you know this one? Go ahead. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem Shabbat Shalom. That's why you came, right? Shabbat Shalom. Please join us at the Oneg. No challah? No challah? All right, Shabbat Shalom. Okay, so don't take the challah.
French toast.
Okay.